We're streaming. Hello, everyone.
Wow, this is weird. So a couple things are going to happen tonight. First off, wait, no, not Rouse checks. We're not doing that tonight. No, we're kind of going with our whole YouTube announcement thing and what I put on Instagram earlier and all that fun stuff. Talking about the state of us and kind of a wrap up given the open gaming license fiasco and Wizards being Wizards. Again, understand what they're trying to do business wise, however, no. So
Yeah, they're doing creators a little dirty here.
yeah, just a little bit. First order of business. I'm Dengle. I've got Buttons, Cocia, Feyla, and Nenevar with me. Nenevar is a pretty one. Joker.
That's all right.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
We're glad you realized this.
Yeah. Might be a serious thing. I can still have fun at the expense of him. Whole family thing. Anyway, so first and foremost, like I said, we are kind of stepping away from D&D. Unfortunately, this is just kind of how it's going to go. I am working on my own project. It will be a tabletop role-playing system. I've already discussed some stuff with the team here, and they seem to be on board, at least for the initial idea of it. So we'll see where that goes. I've got quite a ways to go in this thing right here. That's the work computer. Yeah, anyway.
And remember, if I can play it, you guys can all play it, because I'm always the slowest to learn how to play games in our group.
Yeah, and this one's super simple. Or at least I'm hoping that it is. But still customizable enough that like veterans can still have fun. But beginners can just pick it up and be like, oh, okay, this is easy.
So you might see some testing one-shots pop up occasionally.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Or we just might not record them for the first couple. Probably not going to record the first couple. Once we get like an idea of what the heck we're doing, then we'll do it. But
I never said when it was going to be.
yeah, no, it's going to be a minute anyway. But our Vampire the Masquerade is going to be on Saturday,
Which we will begin streaming. So they will be streamed on Saturdays and then will be released the following Friday on YouTube and podcast.
Yes. Along with that, in a few weeks, Faye has graciously volunteered to do part-time storytelling for that. Kind of give me a little bit of break, especially since we're not necessarily getting down to the end of mine, but it's getting to a point where it's going to be a whole lot of like back-to-back things, and I'm going to have to actually like prepare, like super prepare, rather than okay, I've got a general idea.
It'll be a good break point.
Yeah.
Mine will be taking place post episode 10 from Dangle's. It will be in a different city, Detroit. And it'll be interesting.
Yes, and I know I personally am really excited for it because I get to play. That's the main thing there for me. Everybody else, I know for the most part, everybody's doing something pretty different than what they've got now. So it's fun. The most different, honestly, is probably going to be Cocia.
Yes.
I will try my best, everybody.
Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll help you through it. But Call of Cthulhu is still going to be on Tuesdays.
Streamed Tuesdays, released Mondays.
Yes. And if you haven't seen any of them, go back and watch them. This week was a doozy. It was fun, though. It was a lot of fun.
It was very fun. We had some fun close calls.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I gave Cocia nightmares.
If you did, I don't remember them, so I'm okay.
Was not intentional, but it's the nature of the game sometimes. So yeah, that's pretty much all of the announcements that we've got. So let's go ahead and jump into the kind of wrap up. I'm hand waving, saying that everybody survived to the end. The events follows this chronological order. You went and fought the dragon. Yorick got his first level in Ranger, and he just stayed Ranger. From there, you did a bunch of quests, killed a bunch of hunters and a couple seekers. Not all of the seekers, because not all of them were necessarily required to kill. And then, let's see here. You decided to go after the crown, but you realized exactly what you needed to do to be able to, like, fix stuff. And that was to get this special artifact called, well, we call it the Golden Eye. It's literally just like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Pegasus Eye is what it kind of looks like, for lack of better terms.
The Egyptian Eye of Ra.
Yes, that one. Which is a lot of what I actually based it off of, visually speaking. So from there, you stormed the castle. You killed actually all of the elite guards, which you would have ended up killing. One by one, and it would have been a series of, like, one game gets this one, then you move on to the next one, do all that fun stuff. Yeah, S broke her sword at some point and, like, melded it and made a chain sword, and it was freaking awesome. Diana went crazy with magic. Indigo was going to delve more into that masquerader, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir. I think they were going to finish off all their levels in Masquerader.
Okay. And then Forrest, I'm going to guess and say was probably going to stay cleric. I'm not 100% sure on that one, though.
I was debating on taking some levels in Paladin, but I couldn't find a reasonable reason to, so I think I want to stay cleric.
Unless if you want Mercy Paladin, but at that point that'd still be eh. And then Egan's just Egan. Egan's not here, so I can't speak to his character. Medical issue with him, and it's nothing serious. It's just serious enough that he can't talk. So, or doesn't want to. Either way, moving on. You make it into the throne room. You take on the final elite guard, which is a dwarven paladin that rides a blue dragon. Yeah, that was going to be the final, like, elite guard, which is awesome.
Oh boy.
It was just an adult blue dragon, so not a huge deal. Not an ancient. From there, you go to attack Borrelia, and she kind of just throws her crown out in the middle of the throne room, and she's like, take it. I don't want it anymore. Go back, fix this, make sure I don't exist anymore, please. At which point, you insert the eye on top of the crown, replacing the jewel that's there. It creates this big portal in the past, any point in the past that you wanted. You go back, which I'm sure at that point S would probably be like, I kind of want to go back and kill Jokin for real. But I'm not going to do that because I have more important things to do.
Yeah, gotta stop. Gotta stop where fate diverged.
Yeah. So go back. You have two Borrelias. One's a lich, one's not. To take on. You have a Rogan, which is eventually you would have met Rogan, a dwarven battlemaster artificer, with a couple levels in fighter as well. So he would have been fun. You would have had Yorick, which would have unfortunately perished when you stormed the throne room because of plot armor.
How cruel.
Yeah, or anti-plot armor. You would have had Gareth, which you did meet. The cleric that brought S back, you would have had him. Yeah. He would have eventually come back. And then you would have had 2 or 3 more optional people to bring with you as you saw fit. One was a sorcerer that didn't do any fun magic. He was just very good utilitarian. Could have helped, like control stuff. There would have been a druid that changed his shape into a bunch of stuff. So a moon druid. And then the last important one was S's friend that if you would have killed Jokin fast enough, would have survived that fight. As Fargus, of course. Through all of that, go back, do this big fight. You guys win? Cool. You fix things. You guys lose? Alright, cool. It'll never be fixed. Either way, it wouldn't have affected later campaigns because, I'm not that much of a jerk. But had you guys won, I would the choices wouldn't have stopped there. Because you win the big fight, and then the Demon Lord of Time basically comes and he's like, "You messed up my plans. Like, this is my way of controlling the universe. You all die." And then he comes over and he starts fighting you. Basically, he's like a clockwork, like juggernaut, basically. Yeah, had a bunch of time stuff, a bunch of time magic.
That sounds horrible to fight.
Yeah, no, it would have been. The whole like time warp wizard thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he had that 3 times a turn.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So 3 of you would have, 3 hits would have been at disadvantage, basically, which would have been awful. There's a time stop. He would have had slow at will. However, it only lasts for a round. So certain things would have not been so powerful. Still, really hard fight. End up killing him, assumedly. And then one more choice. And we kind of went over this privately. Start with Forrest. Forrest would have had the choice of staying in Esther's universe or staying in his own universe. Staying in Esther's universe. He had a higher position in the church. He had power to do things. Going back, he basically would have been put exactly where he was. I feel like Forrest would probably want to just go back to his own universe. That's my personal thought. What about you, Ned?
Yeah, that's probably what he would have done. It's not like he's going back on together. He's got a ton of new cool powers.
This is true. Diana's would have been fix her social standing, but have no money, or have all the money in the world, but be in the same spot. Which one do you think Diana would have chosen?
I don't know. Probably whichever one would give her the best chance of either getting away from her family or getting her husband back. Because deep down, She doesn't really care about social standing or money beyond its usefulness as a tool to help her get her way.
Yeah.
She doesn't really care about anyone.
Yeah, see, that's the fun thing is, with the no money would have come the husband. So, they would have basically just been peasants in the middle of nowhere. Diana would have done whatever it is Diana decided to do, and husband would have been a woodsman or a lumberjack, working for a couple silver a week. So survivable, but definitely not luxurious.
She'd take it in a heartbeat. She hates her family and their social standing.
So life of anonymity, perfect for the royalty, which is weird. And then we go to Indigo. Indigo had a bit of a secret here, which we were going to touch on eventually.
A little one, guys, just a little one. So Rhododendron is not Indigo's sister. Rhododendron is actually Indigo's daughter. She had a very hot, very young love whenever her lover left on a family trip. He never returned, and Indigo fell into a depression, and her mother took her away to try to pull her out of it. Not long after they left, they found out that Indigo was pregnant, and Mom would not allow Indigo to kill the baby, so he had the baby in secret, and then Indigo's mother took the child and raised it as her own daughter, therefore making it Indigo's sister.
In a roundabout fashion. So, naturally speaking, the choices that Indigo had were have the rest of her family, but still no Rhododendron. Because Rhododendron was kind of a leaf in the wind at this point. Or you have Rhododendron, but the rest of your family kind of was like, all right, cool, you have a kid, get out.
Uh-huh. More backstory. So, Rhododendron being Indigo's favorite sibling, and Indigo knew that they could be a mother to this child, but still loved them. Protected them in every single way that they could possibly do, including torturing Rhododendron's bully and framing the bully's lover for a crime that Indigo committed themselves. So, Indigo also put themselves into self-isolation and kept themselves away from the family. So, the family, don't figure out how to be a mom or parent.
Yeah, that tracks. At least I feel like it tracks. And then, of course, last person we have here.
Esther doesn't have any deep, dark secrets. You guys know them all already.
Yeah, pretty much. So the choice would have been family or York, basically.
That's a really difficult one. So it got touched on a little bit, but her family was killed by Jokin when she was 17, I think we decided. 17 or 18. Yeah, somewhere in there. And then she left to live with her older sister for a while and her husband. And that is where she met Yorick, and also where Fargus was, who was a friend of S's father's. And S's father worked in the guard under Fargus, and then moved after he retired. So she hadn't seen her family in a very long time, and Yorick would have been freshly dead. And that probably would be her choice. Hands down.
Yep. So, the score would have been 3 to S's world and Forrest to his own. Because, of course, the odd choices, or the ones that drastically change you, would have been to S's world. So things still would have been a little bit funky for you. But you would have been able to survive. And Crown wouldn't have been there. Just certain little things here and there would have just bothered the crap out of you. Like things that were red are now blue, or things that are blue are now red, and little stuff like that. Nothing huge. And then Egan also had his own separate thing, which I'm not going to talk on because, again, Egan's not here. Rooster's not here. So, going to leave that up to imagination for Rooster, at least. So, yeah, that's pretty much the wrap-up of the campaign. It would have been a lot of, like, go find the Seekers. Go get information from them, type thing. Which eventually probably could have gotten a little bit monotonous. However, I would have done kind of what I did with, hey, go kill a dragon. Hey, go kill zombie cows. Hey, we need you to go to the bottom of the ocean and find a baby kraken. Not really that one. That's just a callback from a separate thing.
You don't know what's going to happen. I eventually will be running a fantasy game.
Yes. But not right now. So, yeah. I would have had little stuff like that still, obviously. Because, I mean, lots of travel makes for Lord of the Rings. Which is great. Great book, great series, great everything like that. Can get boring if you just focus on that. So, do you have any questions for me?
What was Fargus's fate?
Fargus's fate?
If we managed to save him.
If you managed to save him, Fargus's fate would have pretty much been given the choice of let the chips lie and still have the normalcy that he has had. Or bring back his family, but as his family really wasn't in his life. And he would have picked S over anything at this point, because basically S was his daughter. Closest thing that he ever had to a daughter, at least. And really, Fargus isn't that old to where he couldn't have had another family. It's just his immediate family, like his brother, his mom, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Are the ones that Joe can guild. So he would have just kind of went along with Esther. Eventually, possibly meeting a nice dwarven lady and having a child or two. But here nor there, he would have been a guard until he died. Literally. Heart attack on the job, and like that would have been him.
Mm.
I'm sure everybody's curious as to what Clank Steel was.
Yes.
So I think we all figured out what Clank's class was and subclass. He was obviously
Eloquence
a bard.
bard.
Yes. So that special thing of you can't roll below a 10 on these checks. I accidentally figured out how broken that is.
I'm intimately aware with how broken it is.
So I didn't abuse it so much.
You didn't. You didn't.
So that's kind of why I sent Clank with them. because it was like, we have a face, but it's not really a face. And then we have an intimidating face in Diana. So Clank's whole deal is he was an orphan from a very, very young age. His parents didn't want him and his brother, which were nest mates. So they just kind of dropped him off in an orphanage, ran away, never to be seen from again. Older human couple raised him, and getting to be about the point that they could leave the orphanage under their own fruition. Bad storm, lightning strikes the orphanage, catches it on fire. Clank can only save one person. And it was between the older man, the older lady, his brother, and then a young kid that he had grown attached to. And he had to make that decision of who exactly do I save? And he was like, they've already lived their life, the older couple. So them not carrying on isn't that huge of a deal, and they have to be together. One dies, the other's gonna die anyway. They'd be heartbroken. So at that point, it's between his brother that he's literally been with his entire life, or this kid that's 5 years old. That he's he hasn't had any chance to live. So he ends up pulling the kid out of the thing. Goes back for his brother. Gets a terrible burn from his chest to about his right wrist. His brother, unfortunately, doesn't make it. Clank spends a couple weeks in the hospital with the burns. The kid, the day after Clank gets out of the hospital, gets run over by a horse. Yeah.
I was gonna say, if that kid ended up being joking, there'd be a problem.
No. Yeah, kid ends up getting run over by a horse, dies. So at this point, Clank's I made the wrong decision. I'll never make the wrong decision again. But he also never put himself into the position to make the wrong decision again. Always playing it safe, always never really engaging in dangerous situations. Unless if he absolutely had to and was thrown into them. Which is why he never really got into the fights with you guys, and why he never did this and never did that. So, that's kind of his whole deal. And his choice would have been go back, save his brother. But Clank wouldn't have made it. Or live his life as normal. And Clank would have given up him to let his brother live. Because at this point, Clank was actually fairly old. He was I've lived a full life. I messed it up. Let's let my brother do his thing. Because as we all know, soul goes to planes, so they can monitor as needed. Clank would have ended up turning into a celestial and all this other fun stuff. Because, whole selfless act and technically good and all this other fun stuff. So, yeah. Clank had a heartwarming ending. It's fine.
Honestly, it kind of sounds like we all have a nice, heartwarming ending for the most part.
Yeah.
I know, I'm surprised.
Yeah. Through all the crap that I was putting you guys through, I had to give you a heartwarming ending. Let's be honest here.
I'm just surprised.
Yeah,
I mean, if we had actually played all this stuff out, so much more chaos would have happened, and it would have been great.
Oh yeah, it would have been awful. Amazing, but awful.
Yeah, Indigo would have had to fight Rhododendron.
Yeah, that would have been awful. Yeah, probably would have just let Rhododendron beat them up. Just been or defensive actions only. And if they ever came across secret Comus, right? Comus. Yeah. So long as they could have knocked him out, would have been tortured by a death of 1,000 slashes or whatever it's called, 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, that one.
When Yorick would have died, S would have probably lost her mind. Like, just straight up, I can't handle anything anymore. And, like, raged through whatever fights had to happen. Like, mindlessly raged through them.
Yeah. And mind you, this entire time I had, like, special magic items for everybody. Like, S's sword, when she reforged it, would have turned into a magic sword. Yeah. Let's just say
rarely used Indigo's bag. I kind of feel bad about that.
No, it's fine. Not a big deal. That was just a fun little, yeah, you can have it. It's no big deal. Like S's sword, when you reforged it, would have turned into, if you hit something that had resistance to like normal damages, it bypassed it. There was no like only this or that. No, it's just it bypassed it. Because technically at that point I would have called it a ghost touch, which was a thing in previous editions, which is the majority of what has those particular immunities and resistances.
Interesting.
It would also have been a +1, but yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Forrest would have gotten a magic flute. He plays it, and basically summon Greater Steed happens.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, so you can get like a freaking rhinoceros or a griffin. Yeah, I had this whole thing. It would have been a celestial one too, so it would have been the I think I had it like the flute of celestial bonds or something like that. So yeah, you would have had something fun. Diana, you that gaudy brooch, by the way. That was a spell storing brooch. Just saying. Could only take 5 spell levels, but you would have gotten something a little bit better, which would have allowed you to store your higher level warlock stuff and like bank it.
Ooh,
Yeah,
very nice.
but only 3 of them. So, and then Indigo, your mask would have done special stuff. It already did special stuff, but like we never gave you the chance to fly with it. Well, you would have been able to fly.
I thought would have been cool.
Yeah, you would have also had an owl familiar because screw it.
That'd be pretty awesome. And it would fit with the whole occult thing that the subclass that we created together was based on.
Yeah, just little utility things because Indigo is already pretty beefy as far as hitting things. So I was like, let's just do utility stuff because that makes sense. Forrest needed help with the whole like hurting things, so let's help Forrest hurt things. S was built to do one thing, and I was going to let us do that one thing. And then Diana being warlock. Warlocks are tremendously underpowered at high levels. So I was going to give a little bit more power to that.
What level would we have hit near the end?
Like 17 or 18?
Interesting. S would have dumped the rest of the levels in Paladin, so I would have gotten some steeds. Did you
Yep.
have any special plans for them?
Not particularly.
Crickets. They're all crickets.
Yeah.
There's a reason it's crickets.
A stampede of mechanical crickets.
Oh, God.
That would have been awesome. So
Actually, that would have been a neat, like, little locust horde that she could have used to mess things up with.
The locust plague. Yes.
We are locusts, apparently.
yeah, apparently.
You don't even know, Nan. You don't even know.
Yeah, didn't Bri do something like that?
She
Before
killed,
we
like,
figured that-
everyone on an island with a locust swarm.
Also, those giant wasps.
Yes.
No, the whole reason behind the cricket is because I was looking for specific animals that were like, I believe, wisdom and foresight. And I think I come across like something Chinese or something. Might have been.
Yeah, they think they're related to, like, fate and the fortune and future.
Yeah, so that's why I specifically was like, here's a cricket that you can use.
Yes.
There was a reason, I promise.
By the way,
Everything I did.
its activation word never was actually said in game, I don't think. It was Avante, which means life in French.
Yes. Most everything I do when I'm a DM, I do for a reason, unless, of course, it's letting somebody throw red. That was just a...
The dice
sure,
wanted
kinda-
that to happen.
Yeah, I honestly didn't expect it to happen. And then you're like, I got 6. And I was like, okay. I guess I'm like having a Nosferatu get thrown. That was great, though.
It was good times.
And it's not like he didn't deserve it or anything.
Still deserves it.
He's about to be thrown again. It was a close one.
Yeah. Anyway, back to conversations. So yeah, like I said, most everything I do when I'm DMing has a reason behind it. It might not be readily prevalent and like easily seen, but there's a reason. I'm not like a lot of people where it's like, this will be fun and just kind of throw stuff in there. Because I know like home games, people love to do that, and that's great. Running games how you want to because it's your game and you can do that. And if you think it's fun, then that's all that matters. Me doing this and having it be an actual production, I was like, I should probably like not do that as much. So.
You also don't like purposely come at us trying to kill us. I mean, you challenge us, don't get me wrong, but like it's not like, you know, you versus us, which is really nice.
Yeah. And again, if you're one of those DMs that does that, you do you. That's fine. If that's what your players like, more power to you. I'm not one of those DMs.
We're not those types of players either.
Yeah. If you haven't noticed, we don't focus on the combat more so. Most of us like the RP better. So that's what we tend
Combat
to
is
focus.
fun and has a place and can be engaging, but I like a smaller portion of combat than I do exploration or roleplay.
Yes. And like I like combat. As a player, I like about 50-50 when I'm playing just a normal like house game. Assuming that the DM is that type of DM that can do both. If the DM can't do it, I'll take 75-25 if I have to. That's about as much as I want to do, though. Like Dungeon the Mad Mage? No. Not going to do. But other things, yeah, sure. Like Faye runs a play-by-post. I like it.
Runs is a loose word right now.
Yeah. And like Rooster's run some games. Rooster's not an RPDM, which is fine. Or at least not as much of an RPDM. Likes to focus on the combat. It's great. Fine. I will make a character to suit that need. It's not the character I want to play most of the time.
I like combat when it has a purpose. I don't like just
Agreed.
I'm throwing people at you. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or, hey, you're walking down the road and you get ambushed by people every
Yes.
2 minutes.
Let me roll on this random dice table to see who you're fighting. It's not my game. Not my game preference.
Yeah. Now, granted, if you're traveling down a dangerous road, sure. If it's feasibly possible that you have specific enemies that might attack you,
Yeah.
okay, cool. But
We don't want Dragon Age 1 random encounters.
yeah,
I don't know. I think Button's reaction there said, yes, more of that.
I mean, I can do that. Especially
No.
in Call of Duty.
No.
I can give you more Bobos.
We already had a hard enough time. No spoilers, guys. It hasn't... Well, no, by the time... Well,
Yeah.
we had a hard enough time with that already. We don't need more of that.
I know. And giving a name's not gonna give too much away.
I was saying that for everyone else.
I know. But yeah, no, I can do that if you want to, but you guys don't want it. I don't think.
No.
We're good. We're good.
And then
You have-
they're like, yeah, I'll take whatever. Do what you do.
As long as it's fun, I'm all for it.
What'd you say?
As long as it's fun, I'm all for it.
That's my main thing. Is I just want everybody to have fun.
We're roller coaster and then on for the ride.
Kinda. To be fair, I kind of dragged them into this.
Any regrets?
Not yet.
I like the way you phrased that. Wait until your first character death, then we'll talk again.
Oh boy.
I'm surprised it has not happened already.
That hit me hard, by the way. That was rough.
Yeah, it was. And honestly, considering that Forrest had such low AC in the beginning of the campaign,
Oh my god.
dodged a bullet not dying. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. Again, didn't try. I could have.
Esther? Go ahead.
I apparently missed some instructions when it came to character creation, so I just went with whatever D&D Beyond gave me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no biggie, it happens. We got you all fixed up in the end.
Yeah, we fixed it by episode 3.
I was actually lightly debating on coming up with a storyline where Forrest thought his armor was better than it was, but he actually just got ripped off.
That would have been great.
Because, I mean, Forrest was basically just like a farmer, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that he was a poor boy from the countryside.
Yeah, he was a farmer, and then he went to Bogswell to join the church.
Hey, Team Farmer.
Yeah, so, realistically, could have been ripped off.
Yeah.
Aww.
But yeah,
Esther was my first character death.
but it was a planned character death, so
It was.
because I was
Oh, good.
like, this would make a good character building thing.
It did.
I wasn't sure when it was going to happen. That's what surprised me.
Yeah, I just told you the circumstances under which it would happen, and you were like,
Yes.
"I'll go with it."
Yep. Did not know when it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Scared the
since- Go ahead.
bejesus out of the rest of us.
Gosh, yes. So since us three, all of our characters would have been in the same world, would we meet up at all throughout the years?
That is a good question. Would you?
Would we even remember?
Yes, you would have remembered everything that has happened up to that point.
I don't know.
Indigo would go looking for you guys. Whether or not you would want to talk to her, they, them, is another thing. But
Forrest would have been up for it.
Depending on when
you're
York
back in the
died.
other world.
Yeah, you're not with everyone else.
Oh, okay.
Depending on when York died versus how long they had left to complete their mission, S might have gone against her oath, which it never really came up in game, but we came up with an oath for her that basically was setting right what went wrong in timelines and like what isn't right in the world. But depending on when he would have died, she might have gone against her oath. Just not in actions necessarily, but in thought and how she went about things. Because it would have been about getting him back at that point.
Yeah, it would have been a pretty fast progression. The thing that would have taken the longest is figuring out how to make the crown work, which probably would have taken half an hour maximum.
Oh, okay.
So, like, time of death until time of choice, probably 3 hours total.
Okay. I don't know how much she would have wanted to do with anything that had happened. I don't know if she would seek you guys out.
The other thing that I would be particularly interested in, because I know, I know Diana would be more than happy to see Indigo, because Indigo made a very good impression on her. But the thing with S is, I want to know how S would react when Diana finally revealed that she's essentially second in line to inherit this world-ending cult, and then how she would respond to know that she's actively trying to bring down said cult. Because that I feel like S would not take that well.
So S would not take well the fact that you were going to inherit a cult that was trying to destroy the world, which she just literally like spent almost her entire life at that point trying to fix. Or at least the past many years of her life. Because she was working with the Resistance for several years before she met up with you guys. Let's see. Let me flip to it. Yeah, so she spent like 5 years working with the Resistance before she met up with you guys. And knowing that Diana was going to inherit a cult that wanted to destroy the world would not have sat well with her at all. Like, there might have been some attempted murder at some point to just stop it. If Diana didn't very quickly tell everyone that she wants to take it down. I'm assuming that's what you meant by that, like, dismantle the cult?
Yeah, no, like she wants her, like, she hates her family so much, she wants her entire family dead. Not just, like, out of power, ruined forever. She wants them dead in the ground.
But what does that have to do with the cult? You didn't give us
They run the
any
cult.
background. See, we
Yeah,
gave background
sorry, they run the
information for
cult.
our character. You didn't give any.
No,
Like, what's with the husband? What's with the family background? Like, what's up with all that?
That was stuff that was going to come up. Because Dengle and I talked about it pretty extensively before the campaign started. It was stuff that I kind of wanted to emerge pretty naturally, and as the group kind of congealed and started talking to each other, I was hoping things would come out, and then we didn't really get to do much of that.
Right, so tell us now.
Okay. Well, of course, now I'm all nervous. God damn it. So Diana was very interesting. She's probably one of the more developed characters that I've tried to work with. She's the second in line to this mildly prestigious family, and of course, you guys met her sister. They pretend to be close because this younger sister is actually the current head of the cult/family. And there was like this whole prophecy. Dengle showed me a prophecy, but I never really figured it out. But they're involved in this cult that essentially is trying to help Clifftop and Ografus destroy the world. And I believe bring about the second starfall or the third starfall or something like that. Third. And her whole deal was that she was just kind of socialized and trained to go along with it and help the family and the cult as best she could, but then she got married off to this guy and they ended up like actually falling in love, kind of, sort of. But then he died or was killed by the cult as punishment for failing some sort of mission. I hadn't quite figured out exactly what. And then that kind of like broke something in her, and she actually went to... Who was it? Who did we say that was? Was it Dressed?
Yes.
And she said, "Hey, I know you want dirt on this guy that my family is serving, Ografus. If I help you get that, will you help me completely and totally destroy my family and this cult?" And that's kind of where Dangle's thing caught up, because I think you had plans of Dresk stabbing her in the back over that deal.
Yes. Basically how that entire thing would have went, and the reason why the husband was originally killed off is because Diana was to basically use him as intel, because he was actually part of like an actual government. Diana was like, "I'm not doing this shit anymore." Basically, they were like, "Okay, cool, we don't need you anymore," and like, yeah, which pissed Diana off, obviously. So Diana did her whole like, "I want to do this and that." The next thing, Dress would eventually been like, "Okay, cool, we're good. Here's the ability to do that." However, it wouldn't have been your actual family. It would have been that other world's family. So really wouldn't have had the real impact. As well as would have pulled strings enough to where when you went to do that, Otherworld hubby would have come walking in and be like, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you in a couple weeks." At which point, Diana does what Diana does, and I don't exactly know what Diana does. And then, like, guards and a bunch of other stuff. So it's like, yes, I'll give you this power. Give me what I want first. Okay, cool, I have what I want, I don't really care about you. Because at the root of it, Dress is chaotic evil. Dress will use you for whatever you will give and throw you aside because you don't care, or just utterly destroy you, like he was going to try to do with you, or well, they were going to try to do with Diana. With Bry, it was more of a, oh hey, you have a whole lot more use. You have pure hate rather than the masked hate and hurt. Bry had the pure hate. So it's like, I can use you after you die. We're going to cultivate this. So,
You don't need to go
Divergent
over
thinking.
Bry. I don't know what's going to happen with that character.
Yeah, I know. But that was that whole thing of why kind of give you everything and Diana would have been screwed over. So, we'll retouch on that later. Possibly.
If
Maybe.
Bry turns up again.
Yeah. So yeah, that was fun. Diana would have had a oh shit moment. And then a oh shit moment. Ness would have had her like, okay, let's kill things now. Which would have been great. Forrest would have kept like getting pestered by these demons, like these temptations. Because Forrest didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't want anything to do with women, or men, for that matter. Didn't really care so much about money either, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like, he had it. He would just as soon give it away, though. So, like...
As we saw during the tax scene.
Yeah. So, like, you would have had... You already had the lust come after you. Succubus. You would have had greed, pride, envy, all of the 7 sins. Yours was very biblical. But I felt like that was a very good thing for Forrest. Because, I mean, at that point, yeah. Rage would have been fun. Literally would have been this random person coming out of nowhere and just punching you in the face and like just start trying to beat on you and see what you did.
That's a good question. What I would have done.
Worse,
gonna
you think
stab
you'd be
it.
alone?
Whether Forrest would have been like, what the heck was that for? And like everybody else would have jumped on him. Or if Forrest would have fought back, at which point the demon would have actually shown itself. Which would have been one of those really big, ugly ones. The Yino goo things. Yeah. So yeah, that would have been fun. Sloth also would have been fun because basically, like, effectively what it ended up being is like it would have been in Bog Swallow. You would have got there and be like, hey, you can just come work with us. Like, it's fine. You don't have to go do all that other stuff. Just stay here. Don't progress on your path. Don't do this. Don't do that. And then they like would have brought you in if you would have went and basically just locked you in the cage. Yeah.
Very slothful.
Yeah. Forced sloth, but it is what it is. Gluttony, there's a spell that makes you eat things, right? I think so.
I'm not sure. Not that I can remember off the top of my head, at least.
I don't believe
If not-
so.
If not, there would have been.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, command. Command eat,
Well, yeah.
technically speaking.
I mean, commands could be lots of different things.
Yeah. So that's basically what I would have done with you. Just literally just like round after round after round of just eat. For no freaking reason. And it all would have been poisoned.
Well, if he would have lost a round at some point, at least he had a decent constitution.
Yeah. Which is great, because you would have needed it. But yeah, no. I had this like actual thought out thing, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. Because Forrest is Jesus allegory.
It's actually amusing that you mentioned that, because last session I was part of, I found out crate food and water is a thing. So I definitely would have had at some point Forrest crate fish and bread for starving people.
That would have been great. So it would have fit perfect. But yeah, no, like the perfect child, or well, perfect, quote unquote, child.
Would you also ask to borrow Egan's walk on water ring so you can walk on water?
No, there's water walk for clerics.
Oh, right, yeah.
So you'd been
Can you
fine. You
also-
could have done everything.
Also change water into wine. Thaumaturgy. You could at least make it taste like wine.
Yeah. So yeah, Forrest even had his whole like "I'm gonna mess with you" arc. Would have been a lot of super mini arcs with him. Not this big one because being a brand new player, I was like, let's not put him in the spotlight a whole lot because I don't know how he's gonna like take it. And B, we've grown up together. I know who you are. That's a good thing. I promise. Everybody else is like, well, Faye's fine at doing this. Buttons kind of likes it, kind of. And Cocia has asked to grow, so we're gonna help that.
Let's be honest here. Most of the characters I make in your games are, here's this character, hurt them.
Yeah, you've actually said that to me before. Like those exact words.
Yes, that was with Jay.
Yeah.
That whole campaign was just, let's see how hard we can hurt our characters.
Yeah, which I was going to go hard on that one. Emotionally. And physically, too, but more emotionally. But yeah, anyway. That was my plans for all of you. Obviously, the Jokin fight would have been a big thing. The Comas fight would have ended up being a big thing. The Dragon Rider fight would have also ended up being a big thing. An adult white dragon. Plus 3 hunters and... yeah, and the Seeker, so... But yeah, anyway. Any other questions? Because we're here and we're talking.
Yeah. You mentioned that, at least privately, that Saul, which now is really funny after watching Breaking Bad. Anyways, different spelling. Saul would have come around, which was Indigo's lover. What was his deal?
So he would have ended up being a pirate. So at some point in going from place to place, your ship would have been destroyed through plot reasons, but all of you would have miraculously survived. On a deserted island, you would have had to survive for a couple weeks. No huge deal. You guys had plenty of survival skills. You're fine. That wasn't what I was worried about. You would have had a temple to explore if you wanted to, with some treasure in there. What have you got? You have fun magic items. Not necessarily useful, but fun. Like a never-ending goblet of wine. Stuff like that. But eventually, pirates would have come on. Pirate captain would have been ex-lover. And
Fun,
Indigo,
and they weren't averted, so totally different person. Right? That's
Yeah.
what we decided?
correct.
Because I left the race up to you, because I was like, I don't care, whatever you want.
Yeah, so I was gonna be nice and just go human. Just for the simple fact of, like, that would be the easy thing to do.
Yeah, it's the easiest. Mm-hmm.
And there's so freaking many of them.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. Because Indigo would have had a bit of a panic attack seeing him again. Since, they thought they were dead for so long. They would be much older now. He'd be an old man at this point. Pushing an old man. Because Indigo was 59. So they would have been in their early 60s.
Yep.
Wouldn't stop Indigo at all from punching him in the face. And then probably kissing him. And that would have left that guy so confused. Because completely different timelines.
Assuming that you could have actually hit him.
If I could, yes. All very, very true. I'm hoping Indigo could have gotten a surprise round. Because he wouldn't be expecting it. But you never know.
Yeah. Probably not, because at that point you had to walk up to him, like, what the hell are you doing?
Maybe at that point Indigo would have had invisibility.
That would have been great. Just poof, where'd she go? Ah, son of a. But yeah, no. Would have come up with an extra. What do we do with this? And probably would have started the whole conversation of, yeah, rhododendron's not actually my daughter, was my kid. Talk.
Yeah, that wouldn't be confusing at all.
So yeah. Fun times. I feel like getting rid of Vance would have been a good, feel-good moment for all of you.
Oh, yeah. Diana would have liked that one a lot.
S would have just been along for the ride at that point.
And then I know a couple of you had a personal vendetta against Liza. Not necessarily your characters, but you as a person.
Yeah, not in this game. In the last game I did.
Yeah. To be fair, I think all three of you did.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. No, Bri was from almost the very beginning.
Yeah.
Just getting off that ship to the city that was being besieged. That was when she started getting suspicious.
Yeah.
I think Mo was the last one to come around to the Liza hate.
Yeah, it was Faye Buttons, Rooster, in that order, and then other player that was part of that, and then Cocia. But to be fair, other player that was part of that just kind of went along with what Rooster said. So yeah. It's fun. Very fun. Anything else that you want wrapped up?
I'm assuming you didn't have anything planned for Ori. Yeah, that was just a temporary character.
Yeah, no. Had Ori had to come back because Esther had to go away, I would have come up with things, but yeah, no, Ori was just kind of a okay, cool, I have things. I have a backstory. I will keep it in case I need it.
Ori was interesting from the Feywild.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, my Feywild isn't super thought out like some people's. But then again, I also don't mess with Fae as much as Fae messes with Fae.
Only in game, never in real life.
Yeah, don't mess with Fae.
Yeah, Ori was an interesting one.
I kind of want to see Ori riding a owlbear a little bit. I don't know why. I think it'd be so funny.
Owlin riding an owlbear.
Yeah, no, there's other better things that Ori could have rode.
Oh, I'm sure, but like Faye just said, an owlin riding an owlbear, it's just owl and owl.
Or Blink Dog.
I love blink dogs.
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
I can't blink with them though.
I don't care.
Magic saddle
I'll say
says
you can. Yes.
Oh, you can with the magic saddle?
Oh, I don't know. I just made that up.
Oh, okay.
I'll say you can. Because it sounds cool.
It's not like my homebrew world doesn't just depend on the Feywild and the Shadowfell for any reason.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No. So you might be reterming certain things, but
Yes.
it'll still do that.
In concept.
Yeah.
I'm only using it because this is still our Dungeons and Dragons recording.
Yeah. But future iterations may not be called that necessarily.
Not at all.
Yeah. Which I've got to figure out my whole thing too.
Yes.
Which honestly I might just give you a template and be like, here you go. Name stuff.
I mean, I could totally do that. I have lots of ideas for those 2 planes. And one of dreams.
Teamwork.
Actually,
I also have tons of ideas for the elemental realms as well. By the way.
yeah, no, those are fairly straightforward. For me, at least, in my head. As far as naming is concerned. Structure, not at all.
Oh no, that's what I meant. I meant structure. I actually came out and made several different things for mine when it came to the monk that will not be named.
Yes.
They had a dream that took place there, and they actually traveled through it. So I came up with a lot of cool different things for the plane for the fire area.
Yep.
Including some plants and everything. It was fun.
Yeah, that would be kind of neat, seeing exactly what kind of flora is in each one of them.
I mean, some of the ones I came up with were little ember blooms. And the grass was little flickers of embers and flames.
Nice.
It was really cool.
Yeah, that would have been neat, actually.
Well, when you play in my world, go there.
Okay.
I have other places I want to go first. I want to go crazy.
We can do that.
I mean,
I joke, but kinda.
I mean, I can do that with your character. You made it pretty easy.
Yeah. I said, here's a traumatized war veteran. Go.
In increments. Not everything at once.
Yeah.
In increments.
Yeah. Lord. Anyway,
You only had to roll sanity once so far.
so far. That I would absolutely have negative sanity. Let's be honest here.
Thales would have started at 30.
Yeah, if that. Oh, Lord. forward. Anyway, so we covered everybody. We covered all my shenanigans that I would have had for you. We covered storyline shenanigans. We covered a couple magic items that I had ideas for. Covered a couple NPCs, the main ones that you guys really cared about. Without getting too world heavy, I think that's the majority of what we were searching for, right?
I think so.
I think so.
That did not take nearly as long as I thought it would.
I know.
We're
We're
efficient.
only hour 15 in.
I know. So, plans going forward. Like I said, I'm making my own system. Without giving too many spoilers away, you don't need a whole lot of dice. You need some, but not a whole lot.
Like a set? Normal set?
You could raid your grandparents' game closet and get all their normal dice and then get 1d20.
Oh, you're not
And that's
using
it.
other dice?
No. For the simple fact of, let's make this for skills, abilities, and attacks. Then this for damage. And that's it. And basically, it'll kind of work off of similar to those. Well, let's pick that one up because that makes more sense. We know what this is.
Yes.
Success or failure, basically. That's kind of what you get for damage. For each above a certain number, counts as one damage. They can try to, quote unquote, soak said damage and negate a certain number. You'll typically have a whole lot more damage dice than somebody's going to have soak dice. I'm looking for it to be quick, easy, and to the point. Much like this game.
Yeah.
When you start doing combat.
Hey, and I gotta say, I kind of picked up the dice stuff fairly fast, especially after Dengle was nice and gave me a set of the dice. Because that makes it so much easier. It's just that I still have issues with character creation, but I'm learning.
Yeah, just do it 3 or 4, 7, 10, 15 times. You'll be fine.
Just make as many characters for VTM as you did D&D.
That's what I've been doing. I just make them, and then sometimes I delete them because I'm like, oh yeah, no, that doesn't work. And then I make another one. I'll get there eventually. I do feel I'm getting better. Lottie, who will be for Faye's game, I think is a lot more thought out and more balanced than Beth could ever dream of being.
I think Beth does well.
I like
Beth
Beth.
does do well, but it's a lot of just pulling things out of my behind.
So, anyway, like I said, I don't know about all of you, but I say here'd be probably a good point to say goodnight for the evening. Because plans going forward, you kind of got that. You got a really quick, small look into what I'm working on as far as my system and how it's going to work, basically. So if you feel like you would want to give mine a shot, there's a really easy way to do this. Either you can join the Discord because we have a Discord. Comment on our stuff and be like, yes, I want X, Y, or Z. Or you can wait for it to actually come out, and I will give you all links to things once we actually play test it and all that fun stuff. So I'll let you know when it comes out. You guys will be the first to know, I promise. after these guys. So, anyway.
No. Our viewers will know before we do. It's okay.
Yeah, totally. Keep an eye on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, because we have TikTok. Cocia's killing it.
Our website.
Yes, our website, which is up, I always forget we have one, which is weird. But then again,
TotalPartyCrit.com.
yes.
It's new for us.
Yeah. And Faye is killing it with that. And yeah, I'm sure I've missed stuff. But that's the main talking points. Also, don't forget, look on our link tree. We have fun stuff for like discounts. For like dice. We like dice. You like dice.
Everyone likes the math. The click clacks.
Math rocks. Clickety clacks.
You can get one of those. It's great.
Hey, you got one of those, didn't you, just recently? A D100?
Yes.
Oh yeah, there it is. Ooh, it's pretty blue.
Soul Crusher, nice.
So yeah, we have that going on with Dice Legion. It's in our link tree again, which will be in the YouTube stuff and on the website and on everywhere. So find us, use it.
We're not difficult to find. We're making it easy.
Yeah,
and we're really good people. We promise.
Well, 4 of us are. I'm a jerk.
You're the jerk we like.
Yes. Anyway, we're going to call it good night for the evening. Everybody stay safe. Stay warm. It's cold. Certain places, other places, not so much. Storms are coming through tonight specifically, so if you're in that area, stay safe. Anyway, good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good dreams.
Night.